Good? Main camera, recording.
Recording video.
And new event.
We'll have more rumors.
Alright, let's get started. We're going to start. Okay.
Am I in the shot?
Yep.
Vampires. They're right to kill. Oh, excellent. Great news. Hi everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Knights at the Round Table. Today we are discussing the 2001 film K-Pax, and I'm just going to jump straight into general impressions of the film, and I'm going to start with you, Susan, because I have stuff to talk about.
Basically, I have owned this movie for many years, actually, and I don't watch it nearly as often as some of my other movies, but upon watching it again, I found that it was still very witty and very thought-provoking, and it takes you on this very interesting journey through the characters of Prout and Mark. Yes.
Mark, yeah. Dr. Mark. I forget.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Powell, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Rob?
Okay, well, first of all, it's a Kevin Spacey movie,
Yes.
which in my book pretty much makes it brilliant right off the bat, because I can't really even think of a bad Kevin Spacey movie.
Neither can I. I love him in everything.
He's just so brilliant at that thing that he does, and usually he's cast in... Well, no, but specifically the type of role where he's really, he's really the thinker. He's really the smart one. Mm-hmm. He's the together one. Mm-hmm. This K-Pax was a little bit of a different take. He was still a very intellectual character.
Definitely.
But at the same time, you had that added thing where, is he crazy?
Or not.
Or not.
Mm-hmm. And he has that little quirky, like, there were a few moments in the film, he does that little...
Yeah.
The head bobble, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot that he did that was really awesome and really subtle. For myself, this was a lovely film. It's not action-packed, there are no explosions, but again, there's a lot of thought in this film, there's a lot of, is he, isn't he, and then the ending of the movie, I just felt, I got the warm and fuzzies.
Yes.
That doesn't happen very often for me in film, and I was in such a good mood. You can ask the amazing flatmate. When she came home, I was all smiles, and I was super chatty, and I went to bed smiling after having seen this film. It was just, it was lovely.
Do we actually want to jump right to the end?
No.
Okay. Because there's things about the end.
Not yet.
Yeah. So we've talked about Kevin Spacey, obviously. I think it's a general big hug love-in for Kevin Spacey.
Yes.
Yeah, he does.
Usual Suspects.
Yeah, well,
watch that.
The small little things that Kevin Spacey does to really bring a fullness to the character, and the very subtle, and the only reason why I paid attention to them at all is because I had to do for this. Because I'm going to drink more rum. I had to for this, and it's just the way he walked, the sort of weird little stepped shuffle thing he did,
And the run! Oh, I got that cracking up every time.
It wasn't really Grover, but it was a little bit Grover-esque.
And then he does,
And I do love me some Grover.
down with the dog and like, so many things were brilliant.
So many things in that performance were absolutely wonderful. Very well done, Mr. Spacey. It was
But
really
on
good.
acting, how did you like Jeff Bridges?
Jeff Bridges was what he is in every film. He was Jeff Bridges.
I think I have to agree with you. He did well. He definitely portrayed the fascination that
And the
he
cynicism.
would have. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but one of my all-time favorite parts has to be when his wife was like, yeah, my head fell off today and I sewed it back on with dental floss. Waxed, of course.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? Dental floss? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, which is, the fairly stereotypical sort of busy father caught up in something.
But he was really fascinated with Prout and whether or not he was actually from a different planet. Or
No, I don't think he believed that Prout was from another planet. I think he believed what most people would in the rational world, is that here's this guy, Robert, what was it?
I want to say Paulson every time. Porter.
Porter. Robert Porter, who went through a traumatic event and then created this character, Prout.
Yes.
To sort of shelter himself from a world where this terrible thing happened. by making it seem like he wasn't actually from this world, and the connections that had hurt him so terribly after this traumatic event didn't happen. They weren't there on this planet that he came from. I think that's what Mark thought. At least that's the way Jeff Bridges played it. But he also played it as, like, this guy is really convincing. Like, this guy's psychosis is amazingly thorough.
Yeah.
So
Generally, what they really wanted to go for from Jeff Bridges was they wanted him to be, a tired, almost fed up, psychiatrist who was, going through his usual job and then hit this guy that would bring out more of a spark and more of a professional, like, I got to get into this and,
yeah, I've really got to figure this one through. And when he went back to Porto's house, he imagined, like, all the stuff that went on there.
Oh my god,
he did that brilliantly. He really did. Like, you really did feel like here is a father who's imagining this stuff happening to him and is horrified by it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure whether to give the cred to the actor or the writer or just the way they filmed it, but
all of the above.
It kind of has to be, really. But it was just a really good, well put together scene, used well, which doesn't always happen in movies.
Yeah.
Like we saw
it was
last
a
week.
conception that worked. For the record, it was a fortnight ago.
Time. So subjective. What? We're talking about a movie that,
It's true.
He's 1,000 light years away from his home, so.
But he only aged 7 on the journey here.
True.
Yep.
So don't quabble for me on a week or 2 weeks or whatever. I don't sleep, so. It's all the same to me.
What is time anyway?
What is time?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
There were brilliant lines. A couple that were like nods of the hat. Tip of the hat.
Oh my god, the aliens reference?
The aliens don't worry, I'm not gonna burst out of your stomach.
Yeah, that was awesome. I had a good giggle. There's no business like shark. Sorry, that was a Spaceball reference.
Somebody get her a top hat and a cane. No!
I don't need them.
Alright, you were talking about time travel being different, and one of the things that I sort of equated a little bit to that was a couple of lines where Prout was like, for an educated person, you repeat yourself a lot.
Oh gosh,
and,
yes.
And I find that's
why
hilarious.
is a bubble round?
Yeah, his reaction was brilliant. Or like, have a seat. Curious expression. He does lines like this so well that it really makes you think about what we do in every day.
Yeah, the stuff we take for granted. The weird idioms of language and...
And there were even things where you could think a little bit past it, like the first time watching it, because I lost my notes the first time, so I noticed other things on the second watching. I was always wondering, like, there's the backstory. He was talking about being from K-Pax and the lighting of the planet being very different, so it's brighter on Earth. So he has to wear sunglasses. But then I thought about, what would that sort of represent as a general theme or an idea? Maybe that was him portraying, I don't want to see anymore, based on what he went through.
He was actually psychotic instead of an alien traveler.
Exactly. And so you could equate that to being, I don't want to see, like, he has no attachment to family whatsoever because of what he has gone through and this whole elaborate tale that he's created to be here. And I thought that when you watch it a second time, you can start to notice littler things like that at first you're just like, oh yeah, that makes perfect sense, and then you look back and go, wait, you could think about this differently and still...
That I really enjoyed that about this movie, is that it doesn't tell you, like it does in a fairy tale, it doesn't tell you that the fairies are real, flat out. It tells you, these are the two ideas, make up your own mind.
Yeah.
I would even have to say that if you watch this movie a second time, you will probably start picking up a lot of the acting nuances that you missed the first time. And the question of whether or not he's crazy, you might actually start leaning towards crazy a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think
that's
anyway.
true.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's and I bounced between the two.
So did I.
Yeah.
Even after the second time, I'm like, well, he's hyper intelligent. Like one of the first-ish scenes of the movie, he walks in, he's got like a folded up paper with like calculus on it. And then later, when he's in the place with the doctor. How many doctors are on this planet? And when they're like, could you draw on the whatever you call that thing
On the pad, I guess.
Yeah. The whole planet's rotation. In
the orbit in the
Lyra.
Yeah.
This just sort of shows that this character or this person is very intelligent to be able to calculate something like that. Like, if you believe the idea that he's crazy as opposed to he's an alien from K-Pax, how does he come up with that? You have to be at a certain level to be able to figure that out.
And they hint at it when the investigation into Robert happens, where they talk about he was a quiet guy, but really, really smart, like really intelligent.
Exactly.
And he just happened to work at a slaughterhouse because, you know, that's the way fate made it happen, rather than, you know, being a professor of astrophysics or something.
And a lot of the time, like, really brilliant people never live up to the level of their own intelligence just because they get really bored.
Yes.
And they just end up doing sometimes even menial tasks just because
they end up a single mother and have to abandon their lofty dreams just to make sure that her and her kid survives. Like, yeah.
I feel like we should talk a little bit about some negatives about this movie. And there's actually not many, because I think it's really well done.
Yeah, it was really well done.
I can't think of
I got
single
one. I got
negative.
one.
Oh, you got one?
bring
Okay,
it on.
excellent.
I
You're the
prepped
only one.
Okay, I was looking online at some of the reviews of this movie, and one of the things that came up, and I think it was Siskel and Ebert, style thing, and they mentioned that the other patients, were very eccentric and colorful.
Yes.
So much so that it was a very Hollywoodish take on what being in a mental institution was like. Like, this was not a gritty place.
Yeah.
But have you been to the ROH? That's not a gritty place either.
No.
They have a butterfly
I'm
garden.
terrified to walk into that place.
It's beautiful.
I have
really
never
is
been
beautiful.
dragged in there. I promise you.
I went for research.
Perfect. There you go.
But
It's beautiful.
on this patient thing, they said that it was as if all of the patients studied One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest before taking this role, and that was what they said about this. So discuss.
So, I don't know that much about psychological conditions, so I couldn't really speak to whether or not that's actually true. I do know, though, that most of mental health institutions aren't horrible places anymore. Like, you won't find the rickety old bed with the leather straps unless they're in, like, the psych ward of a prison. And mental institutions, I'll take another drink, are not prisons. They're not.
I felt like the patients were a little bit over the top, but also a little bit maybe one-dimensional in a sense. Like, take, for example, the guy who can't stand the smell. And it was
Mr.
like,
Anderson.
that was one of the only things that he basically said in the movie was like, oh, it stinks. Oh, I can't stand to be near you. Oh, it stinks. And that was pretty much it for his character. Like, it's not meant to be the focus, but there's no depth to a lot of the other
You know,
patients.
actually, I felt more for him than I did some of the other patients.
Really?
Yeah, because when he was begging to go to K-Pax, and he was just like, everything stinks, this place stinks. I noticed it about 15 years ago, and I wanted to tell everyone, but they put me in here. And then he's almost in tears begging to go to K-Pax because Prot doesn't stink like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And he's really, really tired of just the stench of life. And he's crying as he's saying, will you take me to K-Pax with you when you leave? And I'm just like, oh, baby.
I can imagine though that's part of the writing. I mean, you know, Kevin Spacey and, you know, Jeff Bridges will get, you know, 300-page copies of the script.
Yeah.
And, you know, but some of the smaller patients that don't necessarily have huge roles will be given, you know, you are the smell guy. You know, and, you know, they'll have, like, you know, a page or 2 page of lines, but, you know, that's how their character is summed up.
Yeah.
So they only have a certain amount to work with. So yes, that falls on the writer, or maybe how much the director cut out of the background story.
Yeah.
I don't know if this was a book first.
I did.
I
I don't know about that.
I didn't research. Yes, we're getting a yes
apparently,
from the
perfect.
Peanut Gallery. Yes, it was.
But I did watch the deleted scenes and the extras, and there wasn't really a lot extra in the ward per se. There
Yeah.
was
Well,
bits
it wasn't-
and
it
pieces
wasn't-
and an alternate ending, which was horrible. I'm glad they didn't do that alternate ending. I didn't feel the same way.
Don't watch it, viewers. Just skip it.
But
I might watch it now, actually, because the ending was horrible.
She'll watch it for you. She'll take the bullet. You don't need to. It's good.
Well, I was having this discussion with my flatmate who was like, really? You liked it? And it was a feel-goody kind of movie? What?
I will
It
go.
must have been depressing some points. I'm like, yeah, actually, it was really... Well, that explains it. So I will watch the depressing ending for everyone. Okay, so I wanted to talk a bit about the ending and what people thought. For yourselves, was Prot from K-Pax? Or was he just insane?
Start with me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you've ever watched me on this show before, I will always go for the supernatural angle. So I feel the need to throw logic aside and he was an alien. Giving backup for this.
Bess? Oh my god, Bess's essay. You need to watch the movie, but Bess's essay had me in tears.
I only
Yeah.
caught a word or two of her essay.
Oh, it was literally just the front page. With
Yeah.
the picture of the bird, that's what made me go, oh,
Oh.
Bess.
I'll look at it again, because all I caught was... Never mind. It's fine.
So,
No.
carry
Yes.
on. He was from K-Pax.
Yeah.
That's your final answer?
My final answer is going to be he was from K-Pax, not because of the necessary evidence about whether he might have been insane or not, just because from the feel of it, it makes a better story. And that was the general impression that I got, especially the first time and second time watching the movie. Only when I started overanalyzing was I like, okay, he's crazy. But just if you go with the alien thing, it's an even happier story, and that's what I want. So yeah.
I want to believe that he's from a different planet. However, I'll sort of take the flip side and say he's probably just psychotic. And the reason that I would say that is because having gone through various things in my life and seeing other friends go through really hard times and how they've coped, there are sections of my own life that I don't remember because I've purposely blocked it out. And so to see this movie and how he copes with the tragedy that he went through, I completely understand. I mean, it's obviously not the same circumstance.
Yeah.
My, husband and whatnot did not die. But it's just, I understand how that can really change everything about you and what you're going to do to not have to face it anymore.
Yeah. Okay. For myself, he's Protus from K-Pax. Just like Ophelia was a princess from the fairy underworld in Pan's Labyrinth, Prot is from K-Pax, and he will not convince me otherwise, god damn it.
She had me worried for a second there. I was like, oh god, I'm going to get outvoted again.
No, and actually it's because, for two reasons. One, spoiler alert, when Prot leaves, Robert becomes comatose.
He does.
Bess disappears,
Yes.
because he can only take one
Which
person.
is confusing.
Why is it confusing?
Just, how does she get out? Like, is it just
She
the
caught a light
scuffle?
beam, duh.
Okay, maybe it's just me, the role
Told you.
player in
Knew
me.
it.
The role player in me wants to sit there and go, okay, here are all the exits, here are all the cameras, here's the time shifting of the guards, here's this, here. Like, I will theory craft that to death and go, this is the opportune time. When is she getting out?
Well,
I'm
all
sorry.
all of their eyes were on Prot, so nobody would have been paying attention to Quiet Bess, who doesn't move much.
There was no smoke and mirrors. It was a light beam.
It was she caught a light beam. She's on K-Pax, and the reason why Robert's body isn't, is because
He's
Prot
more
could
of a
only take
spirit.
one person,
Ooh.
so he couldn't take Robert with him.
He had to transport in her
Transport.
body.
Yeah,
Which
Interesting.
is a wonderful...
that's my theory. Shut up! Don't break it! Don't break it! K-Pax is real.
I'm not disagreeing.
It's also a wonderful feel-good ending.
It is a
Yes.
wonderful feel-good ending, and that's what made me smile while I was falling asleep.
That he takes her and not his own body.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh god, and, just when you watch the thing, her essay, just four words on the front page of her essay, and I just went, oh, Bess. And then that's why everybody was so happy, except for the...
It's true. Except for that one
bitch.
That was great.
That was awesome. So if you oh, sorry, go.
I have 2 quick trivia bits.
Yes.
Okay, so one, the yearbook picture is actually Kevin Spacey when he was younger.
Yes, that
Which
I knew.
I thought that was pretty awesome. And the other was, do you think the movie would have been the same if it was Will Smith as Prot?
What? No. No.
Because he was originally offered the role.
Well, this is 2001, and Will Smith, much like Dwayne Johnson, didn't have the nuance down just yet in 2001. He's
But
certainly very good.
I would like to see Will Smith today.
Do it.
yes.
Yes.
Back
I
then,
agree.
Coming
Not so
off
much.
Bad Boys, I don't know whether...
That's true.
But no, today, I'm loving Will Smith's new
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's turned into quite the actor.
I
He
agree.
has.
I
I
agree.
agree.
If it was Will Smith today, I would love to see it. But in 2001, I don't think he had quite the chops then to pull it off.
Alright, there
Sorry,
you have it.
sorry, Mr. Smith. Man.
No,
Okay.
we're going to hashtag Will on this one.
No!
Yes!
Let's do it! I'll find him on Twitter.
Remake, man, remake.
Oh, no.
I'm sure Kevin Spacey would back this just to see
He
it.
has
Yeah.
a Twitter, by the way. I'll send it to you.
Nice.
Kevin Spacey.
Great.
No, that's good.
So,
Because
if you were to
we
give us
talked
out of 5
good.
stars.
Ooh.
5.
5?
5.
Oh boy, I don't really do 5 stars
I know.
unless it really blows my mind right off and bits come out. But
There's
got her again. Okay, Kevin Spacey
I
does
don't
not.
give it 5 stars unless there is brain matter on
Yeah.
the wall behind me.
Gray man.
You don't get a Kevin Spacey movie that ever goes below 3. His average in my book is about 4, and yeah, I gotta say 4. 4.
4.
That's on my really harsh rating scale. 4.
Yeah, I gave this movie a 4 as well. It's coming very close to one of my favorite movies in that it asks the same questions. Like, is this real or is it not? Are you at least open to the possibility of it? And I really enjoyed that about this movie. And also, because I believe that Prot was from K-Pax. It's such a lovely movie. Oh my god, my heart grew 3 sizes.
Yes,
It's
it is
just
beautiful.
so sweet.
I slept like a baby.
Okay, so, Sue, did you want to pick the next film?
Uh-oh.
I'm
We'll do this.
thankfully not responsible for whatever's about to happen.
The day the earth stood still.
Ooh!
Which version?
1951.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay, so in 2 weeks we will be reviewing or discussing The Day the Earth Stood Still. That's the 1951 film. If you have any thoughts about K-Pax, do leave them in the comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We're on Twitter and on Facebook if you want to follow us there as well. And thanks very much. See you next week. Bye. Oh, was recording? Oops.
I was gonna say.